The scream tore through the house like a siren, sharp and desperate. I froze, my hands gripping the edge of the kitchen counter, my heart hammering against my ribs. What was that? I whispered to myself, though I already knew. The sound had come from the living room, my living room. I wasn't alone. My bare feet slapped against the wooden floor as I hurried toward the noise, my pink hoodie brushing against my thighs. The boxes stacked haphazardly in the hallway blurred past me, and I barely registered the framed picture of a sunset hanging crookedly on the wall. My focus was singular, my mind racing with possibilities. Was it an intruder? An animal? Something worse? I skidded to a stop at the threshold of the living room, my breath catching in my throat. The scene before me was surreal, like something out of a nightmare. There, in the center of the room, was her. She was enormous, her body straining against the confines of the space. Her gray tank top clung to her skin, damp with sweat, and the bright pink hoodie she wore looked ready to burst at the seams. Her hands were planted firmly on her hips, her chest heaving as she struggled to catch her breath. Her bare feet pressed into the wooden floor, leaving shallow indentations. But it wasn't her size that shocked me. It was the fact that she was stuck. Her body was wedged between the wall and a heavy piece of furniture, a tall dresser with drawers half open, spilling clothes onto the floor. Her face was twisted in pain, her eyes wide with panic. "Oh, God," I whispered, my voice trembling. Are you okay?" She turned her head toward me, her expression a mixture of fear and frustration. "Do you look okay?" she snapped, her voice strained. "I can't move. I'm trapped." My mind raced. How had this happened? How had she even gotten in here? I didn't recognize her. She wasn't a neighbor, a friend, anyone I knew. And yet here she was, in my house, in my living room, trapped and clearly in distress. "Hold on," I said, my voice shaky but determined. "I'll get help." I fumbled for my phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed 911. The operator's voice was calm, professional, but I could barely form coherent sentences. "There's a woman. She's stuck. She's huge. I don't know how she got here. You have to send someone." The operator assured me that help was on the way, but the wait felt like an eternity. I paced the room, glancing nervously at the woman every few seconds. She was quiet now, her head bowed, her breathing labored. The dresser creaked ominously under her weight, and I feared it might collapse at any moment. Finally, the sound of sirens broke the tension. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows, and within moments, a team of firefighters burst through the front door. They took in the scene with practiced efficiency, but even they paused for a moment, startled by the sheer scale of the situation. "Ma'am," one of the firefighters said, his voice calm but urgent, "we're going to get you out of here. Just hang on." I watched, my stomach churning as they assessed the situation. The dresser was too heavy to move without risking injury, and the wall was the only option. One of the firefighters produced a saw, its whirring blades sending shivers down my spine. "This is going to be loud," he warned, glancing at me. I didn't argue. I retreated to the hallway, my hands clutching at my elbows as the saw bit into the wall. The sound was deafening, the air thick with dust and tension. My mind raced with unanswered questions. Who was she? How had she ended up here? And what would happen to her once she was free? The wall gave way with the groan, and the firefighters moved quickly, carefully guiding her through the gap. She stumbled as her feet touched the ground outside, her massive frame trembling with relief and exhaustion. But as the firefighters helped her into the waiting ambulance, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. Something about her presence here, in my home, felt inexplicable, and as the sirens faded into the distance, I couldn't help but wonder, what had just happened and what would come next. Before I tell you what happened next, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us grow. Now, back to the story. The ambulance doors slammed shut, and the flashing lights disappeared down the street, leaving me standing in the doorway of my house, stunned and shaken. The living room was a wreck. Dust from the walls scattered across the floor, the dresser tilted precariously, and the gaping hole where the wall had been let in the cool night air. I stared at it all, trying to make sense of what had just happened. But before I could even begin to process, my phone buzzed in my hand. It was a text from an unknown number. My heart skipped a beat as I opened it. Thank you. That was it. Just 2 words. No explanation, no context. I stared at the screen, my fingers trembling. Who was this? Her? The woman who had been trapped in my living room? How did she even get my number? My mind raced, but I couldn't piece it together. Before I could respond, another text came through. You don't understand yet, but you will. The words sent a chill down my spine. I typed back quickly, my fingers stumbling over the keys. Who is this? What's going on? The reply was instant. I'll explain everything, but not here. Meet me at the old factory on Maple Street, midnight. Come alone. I stared at the screen, my pulse quickening. The factory on Maple Street? That place had been abandoned for years. Why there? And why midnight? My instinct screamed at me to ignore it, to block the number and call the police. But curiosity, or maybe something deeper, dragged me forward. Fine, I typed back, but this had better be good. The drive to the factory was tense. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles white as the city streets gave way to darkened roads and the silhouette of the crumbling building loomed ahead. My headlights cut through the fog that clung to the ground, and I parked a safe distance away, hesitating before shutting off the engine. The factory was massive, its windows shattered and its walls covered in graffiti. The air smelled of rust and decay, and the only sound was the distant hum of crickets. I pulled my pink hoodie tighter around me, the fabric brushing against my skin as I stepped out of the car. Hello? I called out, my voice echoing off the walls. No response. I hesitated, then moved forward, my bare feet crunching on gravel. The entrance was a gaping maw of darkness, and I fumbled for my phone, using its flashlight to guide me. The beam of light revealed broken machinery, scattered debris, and more graffiti. My pulse quickened with every step. Where are you? I called again, louder this time. A sound from behind me made me spin around, my heart leaping into my throat. There she was, the woman from my living room. She stood in the shadows, her massive frame silhouetted against the moonlight streaming through the broken windows. Her hands were still on her hips, her expression unreadable. You came, she said, her voice low and steady. Yeah, I came, I snapped, my fear giving way to frustration. Now explain. What the hell is going on? Who are you, and why were you in my house? She stepped forward, the floor creaking under her weight. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw something in them. Something desperate, almost pleading. My name's Clara, and I didn't end up in your house by accident. I was sent there. Sent? By who? Why? She hesitated, her gaze shifting to the floor. Because of you. Because you're the only one who can help me. Help you with what? I demanded, Her eyes locked onto mine again, and I felt a chill run down my spine. "The mold," she said. "It's spreading, and if we don't stop it, it's going to kill us all." My stomach dropped. "Mold? What are you talking about?" She took another step forward, her voice urgent. "You don't understand yet, but you will. It's in your house. It's in the walls. And it's alive." I stared at her, my mind reeling. Alive? Mold? It sounded insane. But the look in her eyes, the raw terror, told me she believed every word. "Show me," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. She nodded, turning toward the factory's dark interior. "Follow me." I hesitated, then stepped forward, my heart pounding in my chest. Whatever was happening, whatever I was about to discover, I knew one thing for certain. Nothing would ever be the same again.